Not only are space battles confirmed, but they are here, and I have gameplay of it for you. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stone Mountain, and this is Starfighter Assault, our first glimpse at space aerial gameplay in Star Wars Battlefront 2. We got to see a little bit of this at the Assault on Theed, but that was just supplementary to the battle that was really happening and focused on the ground. This game mode is 100% Starfighters only, and it's more than just your team deathmatch. In the playtest that I had, we were only able to play this one map and mode, but already we can see more content than what was in all of Battlefront 1's space battles. Although we haven't seen all the maps yet in terms of how many there will be. With 6 total starfighters to choose from and more hero ships, which if you want to see more details on that, we had 4 available to play during this test. On top of that, the objective of the game had 3 different phases to go through, and was far more complex than just your team deathmatch with a couple side objectives occasionally flying through. In this gameplay, I started by using the Y-Wing, which was in Star Wars Battlefront 1, but was not playable. On offense, you really have to push the objective if you want any opportunity to win. The majority of the games that we played, whether I was on offense or defense, it didn't matter. Most of the time, the Imperial on defense were winning, destroying all the attackers' ships. The way the game played was, like I said, in 3 phases. At the beginning, we're trying to take out these 2 giant cruisers that are circling around the area. They have large health totals, and they have turrets on top of them, which can be destroyed, but there's also these other floating turrets just around on the overall station or on these floating satellite type things that you can take out. While the Y-Wing is slower and a bigger target, easier to destroy, it also has much more damage and health with the ability to self-heal, an auto turret, and still lock on cannons. Right there, I crashed into the ship as soon as I saw I had over 1,000 points, so I could be the first into the Millennium Falcon and to start doing the extra damage that it provides as soon as possible. There was not a second to waste in terms of destroying these ships if we wanted to have any opportunity to actually win. The top ship blew up there. I started applying my extra damage with the special modification, dealing the extra damage, and poof goes the second one, initiating phase 2. There is a short break before the next phase starts where you're awaiting orders, and after completing the first phase, we did get an extra 100 tickets, but even with that, you'll see how close this game gets. While the first one was in a very open area, this second portion of the fight gets much more close quarters. In space, it sounds a little bit weird, but there's actually an interior portion which you need to fly through and navigate the corridors and take out these inside 4 giant shield projectors. You can see here the break comes to an end. Shield projectors are online. I finished taking out this enemy bomber and then head straight to the inside. When flying in here, it is very easy to crash into the walls, and as you come out on the other side, there's a couple of openings. There's a lot of more satellites, things hanging off of this station that you could run into, but you can also use these to your advantage if you maneuver around them to try and shake the person that's tailing you. When inside, I do try and fly very slow, although I do even scrape the side when flying very slow later on. I thought there was an exit at the top, but it turns out there wasn't. That circle you just saw close in was actually the missile incoming UI that is currently in the pre-alpha, but this could change later on. There was the actual locking, he shot, circle closing, hit me. Fortunately, Millennium Falcon has a ton of health. I tried to disregard this as much as possible to just focus on those objectives, trying to destroy them, not get distracted. I tried other games, and I do have gameplay of destroying tons of enemy ships, but as long as you were on the rebel side, it never seemed to pay off to slay. It always seemed to pay off to shoot at and focus on the objective. And you really do get rewarded for it. And this was something else that I had noticed during the Assault on Theed. One of my best gameplays that I got with 41 kills on the Assault on Theed in that 10-minute game, easily the highest kills in that game. You don't get rewarded points-wise quite as much as you do for playing the objective. It seems like this is an overall theme that the developers are going for in terms of playing the objective, contributing to the team, can earn you even more points, and it did in both the cases that I had seen so far in 2 different game modes. Then just trying to slay and rack up the highest KD. Finally, we destroy the 4th shield projector, and it's on to the final phase. With a quick break while we wait for further orders, I try and thin out some of the numbers. In particular, I spot the Slave 1 and stay on his tail. We then get orders for the final phase, which is to disable the 4 couplings, which when done, will expose the reactor, giving us a 30-second window to attack it. Still chasing this Slave 1 though. While the hero ships are very powerful even in this pre-alpha build, they're not as powerful as they were in Battlefront 1, and a good pilot can stay on that ship's tail, continually doing damage and really whittle away at its health, especially if you now get 2 or 3, you can take them down pretty quickly. The issue, though, is that if you let that ship get away, they can now regenerate health, meaning that you could have another full health hero ship to deal with, even if you just leave it with a sliver and it gets away. Holding down the left trigger does not auto-aim the bullets anymore either. You have to properly lead the enemy, which it does give you a little white circle to aim towards to help you figure that out, but even so, it takes much more skill to aim that precisely and take them out. With hero ships being bigger targets, they are easier to hit though. The regular Starfighters also have a new twist to them. Like you saw with the auto turret on the Y-wing, similar to that, all of the other ships have another ability when you hit L1 and R1 at the same time. It activates some type of unique special to that class of ship. You saw this on the Y-wing with the auto turret. The X-Wing, a very versatile piloting ship, its special is to activate all 4 of the primary cannons at one time, giving you massive burst damage with your shots. The A-Wing, a very, very fast ship, has a target lock ability that will allow the primary cannons to lock onto enemies, which that already has extremely fast-firing cannons for, and you can shoot a lot before it even overheats, giving you much more time to use that lock-on. On the Imperial side, for defense, we saw a new bomber fighter. This was probably the favorite of myself, as well as most people at the event, as its special ability was to shoot out 3 locked-on missiles, which could lock on to separate targets. That was in addition to its ordinary standard lock-on missiles it had. Is the Y-wing with extra health total, could shoot for a long time without overheating, although it was a slower firing blaster. A powerhouse, but quite easy to aim at with a large target size and slow movement. The Interceptor had a lock-on for its primary as the special. Also was a very fast-moving ship, but its guns overheated very quickly. While it did do more damage, it was also very hard to be extremely accurate, so I did prefer the A-wing to it. And finally, your standard TIE Fighter had a special laser barrage, shooting out a massive amount of fast-firing lasers, doing quick burst damage. Coming down to just 18 tickets left on this gameplay for our team, though, we narrowly disable the couplings, exposing that reactor one last time and giving us the win. If you're new to my channel, subscribe to catch all the latest Battlefront 2 coverage, which we'll definitely be seeing more of, especially as we get closer to the game launch. Give the video a like if you enjoyed it. A huge thanks to EA for inviting me to capture some of this content before its release. That's it for this one, though. Thanks so much for watching. This is StoneMountain64, over and out.